What's going on, YouTube gang? It's Mel DFS coming to you live and direct, here to give my favorite plays for NFL Week 5. Hope everybody's having a great day. Feel free to like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. Press that bell icon. Always stay notified for a new video. These plays are for the main slate, so let's jump right into it. Go with my first play at quarterback, Dak Prescott, in a great play at 6,900 on DraftKings, 8,100 on FanDuel, going against the Giants. Now, last time he did suffer that season-ending injury, and he's back for revenge, y'all. Now, looking at the Giants, they allow average 1.8 touchdowns a game, 23.2 fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks. Prescott's averaging 22 fantasy points a game, 266 passing yards with 2.5 touchdowns a game with a 75 completion percentage. Love the spot for Dak Prescott. You got a great stack with Dallas in this play. Going for some savings. You can go down to like a Jacoby Brissett. I think he's a great savings play at 5,200 on DraftKings. It'll be more like a shootout in this play. Tampa's bottom tier versus opposing quarterbacks are averaging around 26 fantasy points a game. They allow 330 passing yards a game to quarterbacks, 2.8 touchdowns a game, around 46 pass attempts a game. And also with the Tampa Bay, their secondary is banged up. Jacoby is in a great play even for GPPs. He's averaging around 17.5 fantasy points in the last 2 games. Love the spot for Brissett. Play from behind, have to throw more. Thankfully he'll pay up in value. All right, let's go to our next play, going to our running backs. Of course, you got Derrick Henry in play. I mean, obviously, going against Jags, I mean, he's 9,000 on DraftKings, 10,400 on FanDuel. Be an obvious cash play, but I love him here against Jaguars, especially knowing that Julio Jones is out, A.J. Brown is in, so help him relieve some pressure off of him, but he can still affect the game. So I like Derrick Henry here for cash only. But if you want to pay down, you do have DeAndre Swift, was limited in practice, but I feel like he's always been questionable. But there's an uptrend in my opinion. Check him out in the scoring. We had 24 in week 1, 11, 23 in week 3, 8 against the Bears in week 4. So I hope it's going to be a spot to where he give you that 20 plus here, and he'll be lower owned for GPPs. So he's averaging around 17.2 fantasy points a game, 7.3 targets, 5.8 receptions, helping out in the passing game. Just one of those guys, a pass catching running back. Going against Minnesota, they allow 119.8 rushing yards a game to opposing running backs, around 26.6 fantasy points per game to opposing running backs. So DeAndre Swift is a great play to consider in your lines. Another play you also go look at Damian Williams, 5,600 on DraftKings, 58 on FanDuel. Without Montgomery, more likely down for 4 to 5 weeks. But when he played, he had 15 fantasy points with a touchdown and 8 carries, 2 for 2 in the passing game with 15 yards. The Raiders, they do allow an average 94 rushing yards a game, a touchdown a game to running backs, averaging 27.7 fantasy points to opposing running backs. So Damian Williams could be a chalky spot, but it's great value to look into, especially with the running game. All right, so Damian Williams, great play for running back. Another play will be more like a GPP spot, would be Tony Pollard, in my opinion. 5,600 on both platforms. He's going to be real sneaky here, real effective to help on screens and a pass catching scheme with Dak. Averaging 9.3 carries a game, 59.8 yards, averaging 11.9 fantasy points per game, and the Giants allow 107.5 rushing yards a game, 26.1 fantasy points to opposing running backs. Tony Pollard will be a sleeper play in my opinion, so like this spot for Tony Pollard if you want to pivot from the Zeke chalk in this play for week 5. All right, let's go to our next play, going to our receivers. Our receiver plays, you want to pay down and get some saving spots. Do like Kenny Galladay at 5,900 on DraftKings. He has 62 on FanDuel. He had 7 targets for 21 fantasy points, and last week he was 6 for 7, 116 yards. If he had a touchdown, man, he would have been killing this slate. He's averaging 6.5 targets, 4.3 receptions for 12.1 fantasy points per game. Love this play for Kenny Galladay. Even a John Ross value play is also consideration at 3,400 on DraftKings. He also had a touchdown with 77 yards against the Saints. So Kenny Galladay and also John Ross are in play. I mean, even with Daniel Dimes, even Marvin Jones, 5,700 on DraftKings, 66 on FanDuel, averaging around 7.8 targets, 5 receptions for 2 touchdowns for the season, 13.5 fantasy points per game, and the Tennessee Titans are averaging 236 passing yards to the receiver position for the season, 2 touchdowns allowed a game with 52.8 fantasy points a game allowed to the receiver spot. So Marvin Jones should eat here. Love this play for him for this week. Antonio Brown is also a great play at 52. It's too cheap. This is Miami's team. They're real vulnerable in the deep routes. He's averaging 7 targets, 4.3 receptions, 14.2 fantasy points per game. This Tampa game, 29 implied team points here, in which he's averaging 17.3 fantasy points in 7 big favorable games. This could be a game where he just explodes in the spot, where Miami do allow average 50 fantasy points in the past 4 away games to the receiver position. So definitely like this deep threat for Antonio Brown. He could also go for some more savings. We got Jalen Waddle, 4,800 on DraftKings, 54 on FanDuel. Like I said, they're going to be playing from behind. They're going to get more looks. He's an uptrend play, averaging 7.5 targets, 6.3 receptions, 17 fantasy points. Went away in the last 2 games, and like I said, Tampa is real banged up on defense, allowing 229 passing yards to the receiver position, 1.8 touchdowns, 56.1 fantasy points per game. So Jalen Waddle, even Devontae Parker, Miami stack with Brissett for this week. Value play, like I said, John Ross against Dallas, 3,400 after 4 targets. He had 3 receptions with a touchdown. Could be a great savings play once again without Slayton and Shepard. So like that spot again for John Ross. Let's go to our tight end position. Dalton Schultz, great play, 4,400 on DraftKings, 6,200 on FanDuel. Getting those red zone opportunities with a 10% easy target share. 20 for Cooper. He's averaging 5.8 targets, 5 receptions for 50 yards a game with 3 touchdowns, averaging 4.5 fantasy points per game, 21.9 fantasy points in the past 2 home games. And Giants, they're allowing 6 receptions, 1 touchdown a game to opposing tight ends, 17.1 fantasy points per game to opposing tight ends. Dalton Schultz, like I said, pair him up with Prescott, Tony Pollard. I love the Dallas stack also. Mike Gesicki, also a great play, 42 on DraftKings, 5,600. Also a great play against Tampa. Like I said, I love this Miami stack. Get some great looks. 6.5 targets for the season, averaging 18 fantasy points in the last 2 games. Tampa is a garbage squad against tight ends as well. So Mike Gesicki, great play to consider. Another spot you can also look into, Zach Ertz. He'll be a nice little savings play on DraftKings at 3,400 if you want to pay down. In the last 2, he's averaging 13.5 fantasy points, 7.5 targets, 5 receptions for the season. As Carolina do allow an average 12 fantasy points to opposing tight ends, 4.5 receptions for 44.8 receiving yards. Just real vulnerable in the red zone, where Zach Ertz, he was 2 for 5 with a touchdown in the end zone. He's averaging around 13.6 end zone target share received for the season. And Zach Ertz for savings if you want to pay down at the tight end position. Let's go to our last play, going to our defense. Now for cash, of course, will be Patriots. I mean, they're real expensive, 4.9 on DraftKings, 5K on FanDuel, so it's a safe spot in my opinion. They average around 2.3 sacks a game, 1.3 interceptions a game, averaging 7 fantasy points per game. Opposing defenses are averaging 8 fantasy points per game versus Houston. We got the Steelers going against Denver, especially if Bridgewater sits. Definitely like this spot more. Projected to get 8 fantasy points here, and they're 3,300 on DraftKings, 4K on FanDuel. Go to the Raiders, they're 2,900 for some savings, 45 on FanDuel. If you don't believe in Fields, even Williams, they both choke. This could be a spot to where you could look into as well. 8.2 projection. Opposing defenses are averaging 8 fantasy points versus Chicago. Another team I also was in my radar was the Browns, 2,700 on DraftKings, averaging 3.5 sacks a game, 16.8 points allowed a game. Now I think they should give Herbert a hard time. I like this a value for upside here. My plays for this week, y'all. If you like the plays, give a thumbs up. Any questions, comment below. If you want access to my player pool, click the link in the description. It is $1 up to 30 days. Once you sign up, get access to the NFL cheat sheet, your sleepers and your studs. Click on the watch players, you get access to my player pool up top. Watch Melo's DFS picks for either DraftKings or FanDuel. So I love y'all. Y'all collect that bag. It's Melo DFS, and y'all stay blessed. And I'll see y'all in the next video.